Hello, it's Tom Donald from the London Contemporary School of Piano. Today we're going to have a piano walkthrough. We're going to do a tutorial on the seminal piece by Oscar Peterson, Hymn to Freedom. Hymn to Freedom piano tutorial. This, I have to say, I think is one of the most underrated pieces in the jazz canon. It is an absolutely beautiful piece of music, and we're only going to look at the chords mainly today. I'm just going to show you the chords of this song and just how beautiful and transformative they are. That's all I've got to say. We're going to play it in F major to start with. That is not the key on Oscar Peterson's original recording. On his Night Train album, it was in B flat major. We're going to play it in F major to start with. And then we'll try it in B flat major. I think this is such a good chord progression to study, such an amazing chord progression to study, I should say, that you should practice it in different keys. You really should, just to get everything you can possibly get from this progression. So that's why I'm going to show it to you in two keys today. What else can I say about this piece? It's just a stunning, beautiful piece of music. It actually was written as a song. Oscar Peterson put words to this song. He wrote it for the civil rights movement in the 1960s. When he recorded it on his Night Train album, however, he just played it as an instrumental piano piece. So let's play this absolutely stunning piece of music. It's got sort of a gospel feel to it, a blues swing feel to it. I'm just going to get to playing it now. So I'm just going to play the chords in a really basic way, and we're going to play through it together. So I started by playing it in a very basic chordal way, and I started adding a little bit of the melody. I have to say, one thing that entered my mind as I was just playing through it in a nice, simple way, it jogged my memory a little bit by the times I practiced this piece and tried to reharmonize it. Yes, a lot of jazz musicians like to reharmonize things. I like to reharmonize things all the time, changing the chords and finding alternative ways to play it. And it jogged my memory that every time I've tried to reharmonize this piece, it's never really done anything for me. And I think it's because it's just one of those pieces that you should just, you don't need to touch anything. You don't really need to change anything. The chords are so profound and beautiful that adding extra alternatives, it just doesn't seem to do anything. And I think some pieces of music are like that. They just have such a delicate transition of chords that you just don't need to touch it. And this is definitely one of those pieces. You might disagree with me. You might have an alternative harmonization you like. I'm making some little small, nuances of my own, but nothing that really changes the structure of the piece. And it isn't a piece that I feel really lends to radical reharmonization. So let's just talk a little bit about how we put the melody onto these chords, because that would be the first way to practice it, just in that chordal way. The melody is quite simple and hymnal. Beautiful lyrics too. The lyrics they're not on the Night Train album, but when every heart When every hand joins every heart. Beautiful, quite touching lyrics. And together yearns for dignity. That's when we'll be free. Such beautiful words, such a beautiful message. It really is probably the greatest secular hymn ever written. And it's often played and sung by choirs, which I think is lovely. So you've got a simple melody, so that can influence the inversion choices you make when you play the chords. So you have the melody at the top. Like that. So you can do some practice in the right hand doing that. It's got that slightly bluesy run here with the G7s to the C7s. Yeah. And it's good to put a little bit of a bass line when you're playing this as a solo piano piece. And just, again, because it's not an intellectual jazz piece with lots of rootless chords, it's a piece where you can use some nice heavy hitting bass with octaves. Moving down the scale, just really got really clear-cut chords. And you can expand the sound by playing full triads in the right hand. Yes, it's a jazz piece with triads. Can you believe it? A jazz piece with triads? Jazz has to have ninths in it all the time. No, it doesn't. No, sometimes less is more, folks. And there's a lot of jazz players out there that probably need to go back onto a bit of a diet of triads to just get a sense of voicing again. Because if you're putting sevenths and ninths and 11ths and 13s on everything, you sort of lose the plot after a while. Everything starts to sound the same. So this is a really good piece for just rounding your playing a little bit more. So, but it's good to really put some nice big bass on this. I'm sitting on a 9-foot Blutner grand piano that's over 100 years old. So, I mean, I can't think of a better piano to play this beautiful music on. So, let me do the same thing in B flat major now, because I did threaten to do it in 2 keys. And this is Oscar Peterson's key. So, F major is a good key to practice in as well, but go B flat major. But seriously, try and play it in as many keys as you can, because you'll get so much from this chord pattern. It's just something truly beautiful about this chord pattern. Here we go.